Hello, I'm Tony Hayward, President and CEO of BP. Our accidental drilling spill again in the Gulf is a tragedy that should have never happened. And to all those affected, I want to say, we are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Angel, and I'm not going to be showing the game that I'm never ever going to finish because I haven't made any progress since the last video. So, I mentioned in my last video, if for everybody that's not aware yet, Unity has introduced a 20-cent tariff on every download of games from their engine. And that includes things that are AAA, such as things made by Nintendo, even though I wouldn't call the Nintendo games that were made in Unity AAA. Don't know them all, but I'm pretty sure they weren't the best products. And shovelware. Stuff that people work on in a weekend and then post up to the internet just for other people to have fun with. They're not serious about the projects, and sometimes those blow up and get millions of downloads. This tariff would put them in financial hardship, bankruptcy. You know, Unity would have to cut a special deal with them, as I said in my previous video. So that you guys are up to speed with what's going on now. Now, in my previous video, I mentioned, and I hope that once the shock value dims a little, the jackasses at Unity come back and do what I already expect them to do, which is to come back and just say, hey guys, we listened to you. Here's the new model. Isn't it much more tame? And people are like, oh, I guess that's not so bad. 100% that's what's going to happen. Unity is gearing up for a change to their 20-cent tariff on all of the downloads done through what their runtime installer reports. According to Bloomberg, they say, video game toolmaker Unity Software said Monday it's backtracking on major aspects of a controversial new price hike, telling staff on all hands meeting that it's now considering changes, including a cap on potential fees. Unity, which operates as we don't care, blah, 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 blah. So under the tentative new plan, Unity will limit fees to 4% of a game's revenue. What does that sound like? What does that sound? That sounds like, well, a little bit like what I said before, but in my previous video, I said something to the effect of, oh, they're going to change it from the 20-cent tariff. They're going to cap it. But they want to over-ask. And then when they pull back and they're like, okay, we've listened to you, community. In fact, it's only going to be this much, and it's only going to be, you know, per this amount of installs, and then perhaps nothing thereafter. Like, the maximum that you're going to pay to Unity is like $2,000 or something like that. And then while I was at work and talking about this, I was like, oh, they're going to say something like it'll be 2% of the game's sales. So here we are, 4%, and Unreal Engine, the engine that people are threatening to move over to, is charging 5%. The real story here is that this was always the plan. This was always going to be the plan from Unity, and I saw it coming from a mile away. It's called shifting the Overton window. Let me get you up to speed on that. The Overton window is a political theory that identifies the range of policies that the public find acceptable and desirable. It states that politicians can only act within the acceptable range, and any politician falling outside of the window is out of step with public opinion and the current political climate. Shifting the Overton window involves proponents of policies outside the window persuading the public to expand the window. The Overton window is a model for understanding how ideas in society change over time and influence politics. It works by manipulating public perception so that ideas previously thought as radical begin to seem acceptable over time. And then they say something about Europe. This is what it's all about. It was the big ask, and then it's something more mediocre that is a little better sounding than what the competition is. And make no mistake, Unity's competition is not Godot, because a lot of the projects made within that scope of Unity are not the bread and butter, if you will. Unity's real competition is Unreal Engine. In Unreal Engine, on the games that exceed $1 million, they're being charged a 5% tax on every sale of the game. And it's smart that Unreal has done it this way, because they don't immediately penalize developers who are trying to get started up. They wait until they make $1 million and then they start charging the 5%. Whereas Unity, I believe that this is going to be, well, this might have been something that I talked about at work with my colleagues, but I believe that Unity is going to say something like, okay, 200%. Oh, that's what I said. Or I said 200% in sales and then 2% tax thereafter. That was my guess. But apparently they're doing 4%. Maybe they'll stick to the million. Maybe they'll go 500,000 because they, of course, have the lower percentage. So they want to cash in some way so that they're competitive with Unreal. And Unity on Twitter had this to say: "We have heard you. We apologize for the confusion and angst." Fuck you, angst. The runtime fee policy we announced on Tuesday caused. We are listening, talking to our team members, community, customers, partners, and we'll be making changes to the policy. We will share an update in a couple of days. Thank you for your honest and critical feedback. Ooh, how lawyerly. The Frog of Shame. If the Frog of Shame gets more likes than the original tweet, then your tweet really sucks. I don't think that people have it in them to really articulate what's going on here and why this feels so dirty. In the back of everybody's mind, when they heard this, there was like, I don't believe that I'm some special psychic when it comes to this. There's no way anybody believed that the first ask for Unity to come in and like demand some money out of developers, the first ask wasn't going to be what they stick with forever. Let's be real. Obviously, they were going to switch it up. So, like with business, it's the big ask. You don't want to start down here because if it's initially received terribly, if Unity even said we want 1% of all the money that you make, or, you know, a penny per install, people still wouldn't have been able to do the math with the runtime installer idea. So obviously, you know, that was going to change. So thinking people understood that. And now that we have this 4% thing, according to Bloomberg, the leak is out and it's probably going to be what they follow up with. We'll see. But this 4% thing, it sounds better than what Unreal is doing, and that's what their competition is, and that's where everybody's starting to go. But the real problem here, ladies and gentlemen, is free food versus delicious food. Everybody knows that Unreal 5 is leaps and bounds better looking than HDRP. Unity can put out all the demos that they want. Look at the products the developers are making. Nowhere near those tech demos. I mean, those include teams of like, you know, SIGGRAPH presentation people. You know, you have to have so much experience to make something like Enemies or Atom or all of those other tech demos. And in Unity, in Unreal, all you do is download MetaHuman, and you've got a human that's reacting to your face on camera and a bunch of other things. Like, it's free food versus delicious food. But you can't start saying, hey, pay us the same for free food as you can for the delicious food, because there's a reason people are paying for delicious food. This was also obvious, and I hate to gloat, but it does make me feel a little bit of relief. And not that I felt like I was going to be subjected to these fees in a major way. Again, in my previous video, I noted that none of my games exceeded 200,000 in downloads. So, honestly, not terribly concerned with it, but it's the whole altruistic way of looking at the landscape. Like, if Unity is going to be money grabbing towards the people that are fostering the community, you know, the people that are making these, I don't want to call them shovelware games, but these simple projects that are just fun, quirky, whatever, if they're going to be penalizing those people for making a popular product, that's not okay. So the people that are upset aren't upset for themselves, they're upset for the community. And they're upset for where this goes. Either people are going to be able to make fun projects and put it out there so that other people can enjoy them and bring other people into the game development community, or they're going to hide them because they're afraid and don't know what the costs are going to be, or if the game gets too popular because some streamer plays it, you know, and they're going to be stuck in financial hardship. These are the unknowns that the industry is trying to avoid. And that's why I think that that's the deep down reason why everybody's truly upset about this. But it'll be interesting to see where Unity goes with the rest of this. And of course, I will be back on. I don't want to spoil you guys because I haven't, frankly, I haven't shown my face on social media, period, for years. I quit Facebook 2 years ago. I quit posting YouTube videos with my face in it. I've just not been found online. So I don't want to give you guys the idea like, oh, I'm coming back to YouTube in a big way. It's tough. It's tough for me to do that with the lifestyle that I have right now. But this is just something that's so interesting and hilarious to me and obvious to me that I figured that it's time to jump on video and, give my take on it. So again, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Unity goes with this in the next few days once they come out with confirmation. But for right now, it's just speculation. And of course, again, not to spoil you guys, but I will be back to talk about what ultimately comes of all this. It's not going to be like I'm going to be a regular YouTube schedule type person, but for this topic, I'm definitely going to stay on it. So subscribe if you care for it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.